here at Story Gym appreciating the job the East High Singers did on our national anthem. And Matt, we're getting ready for quite a game here. Central coming into this one 7-3, of course. They're number 2 in the state in the 4A classification. This is their first Southern Wyoming Athletic Conference game. A little bit deceiving, though. The East High boys just 4-7 coming in.
Well, and I think records sometimes can be deceiving. Ed Weber felt like if he was concerned about records, he probably wouldn't have gone down south and played a lot of games in Colorado. So that 3-7 is also against some outstanding competition.
Let's take a look now at the starting lineups for the Central Indians and East High Thunderbirds. We'll start on the Central side. Starting at guard, Dan Stock, number 14, the senior, averaging 18.8 points in the game. That's tops in the Southern Wyoming Athletic Conference. Other guard, Mark Linhart, 6'1", senior, averaging 6.7 points per game and 3 assists. At the forward positions, Paul Shanor, who has a cousin, Doug Bailey, on the Thunderbirds, and another cousin, Mark Bailey, for the Wyoming Cowboys. Other forward, Cody Kerrigan, an outside threat, averaging in double digits, just over 10 points per game. And at center, 6'9", Jake Merrill. For the East High Thunderbirds, their starting lineup looks like this. At guard, Gavin Manjaris, he's their leading scorer, second in the conference in scoring at nearly 18 points per game. He's a 6'2" senior. The other guard is Josh Williams, 6'1", junior, 7 points per game. Their forwards, Doug Bailey, the cousin of Mark Bailey, Wyoming freshman sensation, and David Ellis, he's averaging 7.7 points per game. And their center, Lonnie Bull, the 6'4" senior, 5.7 points per game for the T-Birds. So that's going to be a key matchup, the size of the Central Indians versus the deadly outside shooting and game that they spread around of the East High Thunderbirds.
Well, I think as we look at this start of this basketball game, Kirk, I think it's a real key that East has got to establish their tempo. Ed Weber felt like going into this thing, it was important for them to run, and I think Kevin McLeod's going to want to slow things down, so we'll see if we can't get a look at that early on.
Like we were talking about in the pregame, an exciting matchup is going to be between Dan Stock, the senior guard, and Gavin Manjaris. Both of them seniors. Gavin with the height advantage at 6'2", 3 inches taller than Dan Stock's 5'11", but Stock can really fill it up. 18.8 points per game. That's tops in the SWAC. Gavin Manjaris, so right behind him at 17.9 points per game. Here's the opening tip. It's going to be Jake Merrill, the 6'9" senior, versus Lonnie Bull, number 42, the 6'4" senior. Central controls the tip. It's going to be number 14 for the Indians. Dan Stock bringing the ball up. They're going to go right into their half-court set.
A little bit of a surprise here, and that is coming out in a man-to-man. And the East has run a lot of zone this year, but again, the emotion plays a big part in this game. You come out in your man-to-man a little bit more aggressive.
Right away, Stock being guarded closely by Doug Bailey, so we're not getting the Manjaris-Stock matchup we were hoping for. Here's number 40 pulling up, Paul Shanor with the bucket. Paul, the 6'4" senior, with the first points of the game. Indians lead 2-0.
And that's really a big lift for Paul Shanor to get off offensively, because he's been inconsistent as a perimeter shooter, so that basket early on is something that's big.
T-Birds now in their half-court set, trying to work the ball inside. They've got a shooter out in the corner. There's a shot, no good. That was number 35, Josh Williams, with the three-point attempt that didn't fall. Still 2-0, just a minute into this game live from Story Gymnasium. There they go inside to Jake Merrill, the 6'9" senior, and he's got an open path to the basket. Drop step right around number 42, Bull, for the T-Birds.
And really lucky that Bull didn't pick up a foul, too. And if East is not going to front Merrill, that's really going to be an advantage for Merrill to be able to get the ball inside the post.
Here's a shot attempt by the T-Birds, number 35, Josh Williams. That one's off the rim, no good. Indians will get the ball back with their 4-0 lead.
Doug Bailey picking up a quick foul there on the rebound. And one thing to look at for Central, too, both Shaner and Kerrigan are only 6'4", but both of them have verticals at about 37 inches, so they play a lot bigger than 6'4".
Hopefully in this game we'll get a chance to see them utilize those verticals and put it down a few times.
Considering I work at Central, I've got to make sure that I don't say that. There's a good look. That time Jake Merrill did a really nice job, Kirk, of sealing the full front position, and gets a nice lob pass for another easy basket.
That's right. Jake Merrill taking advantage of his size. They tried fronting him, so they lobbed it into him. One time he was backing it up, used the drop step. Here's a shot. No shot. Foul before the basket. for the shot attempt.
I think Paul Shaner picking up the foul on there.
Shaner with the push. That's his first personal foul. One team foul apiece for the Indians and the T-Birds. T-Birds will inbound into the corner. T-Birds with the ball back up top to David Ellis. Now Josh Williams with the ball. Now Lonnie Bull up top. You know, the T-Birds changed their uniforms. They've got new uniforms, so they've got brand new numbers. We're alerted of it right before the game. There's a shot attempt and a make by Josh Williams, the three-pointer from the far corner.
The one thing that East is looking at running, again with a five-man motion, they pull Merrill out, and he's going to have to defend on the perimeter. That possession, he did a pretty good job, but as we talked about early, East High has about 5 kids that can score on the perimeter.
Indians with the numbers, 5-on-4 advantage. There was Stock pulling up, didn't convert on the shot. Here he is with the steal, though, all by himself. And the season layup. Stock getting it done defensively.
I think one thing that East has got to do is make sure that they control the dribbler, and I think they dodged the bullet a little bit with Stock giving a three. He's a real good stationary shooter, and you got to make him put the ball on the floor.
5 minutes left in this one. Indians with an 8-3 lead. Another steal. That was Mark Linhart coming up with the steal. We called his name a few times this year during the football season. He was fouled. Foul will go against the T-Birds.
I think Gavin Manjara is picking up the foul in the backcourt there.
Indians with the 8-3 lead in this one early on. 4:56 still left in the first. Looks like Manjaris is down on the baseline, nursing some sort of ankle injury. East High medical staff over there attending to their senior point guard star. That would be a huge loss, needless to say, if he cannot return to this game.
Well, obviously, Kirk, there's never a good time to lose the big gun, but we talked about the importance of Manjaris as the leading scorer for Cheyenne East and how important his matchup was with Dan Stock.
We're going to take a break here, folks, from Story Gymnasium. We'll be right back after this commercial message.
Turn those pennies into dollars at Terrell Doyle Chevrolet. With 2,000 pennies in good credit, together with $20 over invoice price, cash factory rebates, a generous trade-in allowance, you're going to save big money. On a 99 Blazer, for example, 4-door LS, MSRP is $30,423. With the invoice and $20 over and a $2,500 rebate, you'll save over $5,000. Another reason why Terrell Doyle Chevrolet is #1 in savings. Remember, if you don't buy from us, you'll pay too much.
Pile of Mode, Frontier Days, Wyoming Cowboys, Capital Lumber, all great traditions in Wyoming.
Tough work demands tough tools. That's why whenever and wherever a tough job is getting done, you'll find DeWalt tools. Just like Capital Lumber, DeWalt is firmly committed to being the best in the business, and that's why Capital Lumber carries the finest tools and accessories in the industry. DeWalt, guaranteed tough tools.
Capital Lumber is the place for all your building or remodeling needs. 1222 Dunn Avenue, Cheyenne.
It's a matter of pride. Wyoming's oldest and largest dental program, Delta Dental, proudly provides dental plan services like no one else, offering flexible plan designs to meet the needs of employer groups as small as 2 and as large as 11,000. Taking pride in a network of dental professionals that include approximately 90% of Wyoming's dentists, all with the most thorough and cost-effective coverage obtainable. Delta Dental is proud to have helped make Wyoming smile for over 30 years. Call Delta Dental at 632-3313.
Scary moments on the sideline for East is now Gavin Manjaris apparently knocked his knee into someone else's knee. It's apparently only a small sprain, nothing major. He'll sit out a couple plays more than likely, but he said he wants to go back into the game, so he should be back and fully recovered. We should expect to see him a little bit later on in this game, but for now he'll sit out for a while. Kirk, back to you.
Mike Paulser checking in for Gavin Manjaris. Here's a bounce pass inside to Mark Linhart. He's fouled in the act of shooting. Well, you bring in Mike Paulser, and you lose Gavin Manjaris, you lose about 11 points for the T-Birds.
Well, and you do. Not only that, emotionally you lose a lot because you lose the big gun, and I think maybe to contrast that a little bit, Ed Weber comes out that time in a 2-3 matchup zone, and Central does a real nice job of breaking that zone, Stock penetrating one of the gaps and get the dump inside to Linhart.
There's Linhart, the 6'1 senior guard, with his first points of the game, gets it from the free throw line. He'll have another attempt coming up. 9-3 is the score. The Central Indians leading by 6 early on. 4:35 left in the first period. second attempt by Linhart falls as well, so their lead is now 7. Indians going with a little bit of pressure here. T-Birds now with the ball, and they're in, working it around, running through their offense. Bounce pass inside to Doug Bailey. There's Bailey taking it strong to the hoop, but he walked.
A really nice job of Doug Bailey maintaining his composure on the block with the double team, but maybe an even better job of Cody Kerrigan making sure that he maintained position and doesn't bail him out with a reach. And Kevin McLeod, the one thing that's always been a mainstay of Central High's defense, especially their man-to-man, is real strong position defense.
We haven't called Cody Kerrigan's name yet on the offensive end. He's the outside threat, one of the outside threats for the Indians. Maybe we'll call it on this time down the floor.
Real important here now for Central to be selective in terms of what they're doing on the perimeter and get some ball movement to create some opportunities against that zone.
Lenhart has the ball stripped away, but the Indians come back up with it. Here he is, Cody Kerrigan from the outside. Two-pointer for him. 12-3 is the score. 3:35 left in the first period.
Another big basket. We talked about Shaner getting off with the two early and getting a good start, and there Cody Kerrigan, who Kevin McLeod has probably been only critical of Cody from an offensive standpoint because he doesn't feel like he shoots the ball enough.
Dan Stock with the steal, his second of the game. Bounce pass ahead to Cody Kerrigan on the break. Nice bounce pass there by Stock.
Really great lead pass by Daniel Stock with the left hand to give the easy two for a 14-3 lead, Kirk.
3 minutes left in this. Central pushing their lead to 11. They lead 14-13 on the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. Really feels like the East High Thunderbirds haven't found their rhythm yet. It seems like they're still a little bit too fired up, haven't settled down. Nice bounce pass inside though. That was Lonnie Bull, the senior, coming up with the bounce pass and converting on the bucket.
Well, as we talked about this game, motion plays a big part in this game, and it's such a game of runs and emotion. East is a long ways out of it. Here's Stock with a long three.
Great cross-court look that time to the wide-open Stock. He does his job, nails it from the three-point line. 17-5 to score, nearing 2 minutes left in the first. Central with the 12-point lead. Gavin Manjaris for the T-Birds still on the bench. Inside pass to Bailey. Goes off his hands and out of bounds. Indians with the ball. Checking in now for Central High School, number 43. And Jake Merrill comes back in. See if we can get a name on number 43 for you.
I think we got Nathan Sandiger coming in for Central, number 43.
And 20-second timeout called by Kevin McLeod and the Central Indian bench. 2 minutes, 8 seconds left. Indians with a 17-5 lead. We're going to stay right here. So Matt, what do you think so far? What have you seen?
Well, again, obviously Central off to a real good start shooting the basketball. I think sometimes if in a game of emotion like this, that's real important. But another thing, I think East has got to be careful. I'm sure they go to the zone in part to cover the matchup problem that they've got with Jake Merrill at 6'9" in the post. But in doing so, that's the one advantage maybe that Central has is they've got a couple of good perimeter shooters. One being Cody Kerrigan, he knocks it down. And a major threat from the perimeter is Daniel Stock, and he knocks the three down as well. They've got to cover those kids.
Well, that's how you kill the zone with the perimeter shooting. That'll loosen it up inside for the Indians to get inside to Merrill. Indians keeping the ball out on the perimeter. Lob pass inside. That one's stolen away from the Indians. T-Birds pushing it up the floor quickly to Josh Williams. Now inside to Glenn Soule. He gets the bucket to ball. Soule with his first points of the game. He has two. T-Birds trail by 10, a minute 35 left in the first period.
Well, right now the matchup zone, this is a pretty good look against Central's lineup on the floor. Nathan Sandiger is a real role player, an energy player off that bench, and the one perimeter threat that they have out there is Mark Linhart.
Another steal by the T-Birds. They'll bring the ball up the floor. That was David Ellis who picked up the steal. Now he's handling the ball. Going left side, Gavin Manjaris back in. He's handling it well. Tried to go inside that time. but it was tipped away. It'll stay T-Bird's possession. Checking in now for the Indians, number 42, Cody Kerrigan, and Dan Stock, number 14, back in the game. And we've got another timeout. Well, 17-7's the score. T-Birds trailing by 10, 59.7 seconds left in this first period. We're going to go now to our sideline reporter, Jessica Delich.
Yesterday when I talked to Central head coach Kevin McLeod, he said the key to winning this game today against East is going to be a strong defense. They already know they've got players that can shoot. They've got to contain East's offense, and that's exactly what they've done here in this first half. They've got to keep it up, and they're looking like they're on a good roll. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that information, Jessica. T-Birds will have the ball at their end. Inbounding it for the Birds will be number 15, Mike Palzer. Ball goes into the corner now up top to David Ellis. Ellis back in the corner, playing a little two-man game, nearly a turnover there. Glenn Soul comes up with the save. You know, it seems like to me they should get Ellis's big body down low.
Well, and again, right now, I think Jake Merrill's making a big difference inside because at 6'9", they're looking for his presence a lot. I don't know if it's the out-of-bounds situation or a change of tempo, but that time Kevin McLeod and the Central Indians in a 2-3 zone.
Cody Kerrigan comes up with the steal for the Indians. 25 seconds left. Central looking for the last shot here with that 10-point lead in the first period. Stock handling the ball up top. Probably wait till about 10 seconds left before they start their play. Now in a situation like this where they have a play called,
I'm sure the kind of coach Kevin McLeod is, very well-coached team, and I think they're going to probably take a look at Jake inside or for Stock, and that's exactly what's happening.
That's exactly what happened. Jake Merrill got the screen inside from Paul Shaynor. Shaynor went over and screened Merrill's man on the opposite block. Merrill came over, got the ball in good position, got up a shot, didn't get it to fall, but is fouled and will go to the line with 3.7 seconds left and a 10-point lead in the first period.
We got a pretty good look at Jake Merrill here, and we talked in the opening segment about the kind of player he is. And last year, Jake was a reserve, played a substitute role primarily as a defender, as a rebounder. And it's, I think, a credit to that young man, the fact that offensively they're looking for him in the last seconds of the quarter. He's now become a self-made offensive threat as well.
Merrill converts on both of his free throws. 3.7 seconds left. Just time for the Indians to get off one shot, and they get it off, but no good. That was number 21, Glenn Soul, with the attempt. Doesn't count. We'll be right back to Story Gymnasium, where the Central High Indians lead 19-7 over the T-Birds.
It's a matter of trust. Delta Dental of Wyoming is a name people have trusted for a long time. That trust starts with flexible plan designs that meet the needs of employer groups large and small. The trust continues with fast and accurate claims processing and minimal paperwork for you and your employees. You can trust Delta Dental as Wyoming's dental plan specialists. That's all they do, helping make Wyoming smile for over 30 years. Call 632-3313.
Telephone tag. To play, just leave someone a message that says, "Please call me." Chances are you won't be available when your call is returned, and now you have a pink message slip that says, "Please call me." A voicemail box from Rural Communications will end telephone tag. It's a private phone number just for detailed recorded messages that you can act upon. Telephone tag. If you're serious about your business, it's time to stop playing games.
Deciding on a truck? Get into these facts. The Mazda B2500 SE boasts aggressive styling. The Nissan Frontier is, well, nice. The Mazda B2500 SE comes with all this and an unsurpassed basic warranty that Frontier can't match. So, given these facts, we're pretty sure where you'll land. Right now, get $1,500 cash back on this tough and rugged Mazda truck. The Mazda B2500 SE.
Welcome back. You know, one of the things that might be a problem for East right now, they talked yesterday about how sometimes their adrenaline just gets pumping to the point where they get overexcited, they're overshooting, and they can't get anything generated, and that seems to be the problem right now with the East squad. Central's doing a good job, of course, keeping the points off the board. We'll take it back now to Kirk.
All right, we're here at the start of the second period. Central High with a 19-7 lead. East in their offense, looking to get off a shot. That's number 35. Josh Williams, no good. Big Jake Merrill comes down with the rebound.
Central again doing a real good job with their half-court defense. East getting a real good look, good screen open. now defensively coming back again with the 2-3 zone.
You know, it seems like the Central Indians are just sitting back, not really getting to their offense. Here they go. They start to work a little bit, a couple screens. Over in the corner, that was Mark Linhart looking for the shot, but he walked. What I was about to say, it looked like they were standing around a little bit, not getting anybody cutting through the lane, moving away from the ball.
Well, I think one thing Central's going to do and McLeod coach teams are going to do is they're going to be very selective what they're doing offensively, and again, very disciplined, making sure that they have the good shot. So they're not in any hurry, and I think probably Kevin McLeod would prefer a slow tempo.
There's Mark Linhart, the hand check. He'll pick up the foul on Gavin Manjares. That's Linhart's first. Central Indians really pressuring the East High's guards, Manjares and Josh Williams, out past the three-point line.
You know, we talked earlier that the matchup problems that we thought Williams might give Stock. He's got a lot more size, and again, Manjares, you don't want to get him off to a good start. A little off balance, but type of player he is, he's probably capable of shooting those.
Yeah, he swung around, didn't get a good look at the basket, didn't square up, airballed that one. Indians with the ball now at their end, and a lead, 19-7, 6:48 left in the second. We're just underway, live from Story Gymnasium. East and Central basketball. Central coming in, the number 2 ranked team in 4A, and they looked every bit of that so far.
And right now, Kevin McLeod's plan of taking the ball inside, they're doing that. And again, Central playing very disciplined at both ends of the court.
East High staying in their 2-3 zone defense. Here's a lob inside to Jake Merrill. They had him. Nice pass inside, an attempt, no good. Gets his own rebound, gets the bucket, no call on the foul. Merrill sealing off the defender, getting the lob inside for the relatively easy bucket. And now the Thunderbirds come back the other way with the ball, turn it over on a violation, traveling that time.
Tommy Dehoff, the official there, local product here from Cheyenne. And look at the other official, Robbie Willis from Laramie, longtime state official. And in these type of games, you like 2 good ones, and we've got those guys here today.
Well, Matt, you coached for several years. Are these guys working the officials yet, or is it too early in the game for that?
You know, I think the kind of quality coaches that you have in both Ed Weber and Kevin McLeod, I think with experienced officials, they do a good job. They're hustling, and I think sometimes that's overrated, Kirk, as you look at it in terms of getting on the officials. When you got good guys working, it's better strategy probably to stay in and coach the game. And Kevin right now, the way his kids are playing, has no real concerns, and Ed's biggest concern is he doesn't have anybody 6'10" in the locker room, and right now that Central size is making a difference.
Nicely executed play there where Paul Shaner came from up top, had a screen, went down low for the lob pass from Cody Kerrigan, just couldn't convert on it. But a very nicely drawn up play, and they executed it well.
Well, that time Shaner accepts the back screens and goes to the basket. You've got to switch those up if you get a good screen. But again, we got a good look at Shaner's jumping ability. It wasn't a very good pass, and he still made a play on the ball.
Here's Stock on the outside, up top now to Cody Kerrigan. Inside to Jake Merrill, facing the basket, almost turned over. Cody Kerrigan comes up with a loose ball. They've got an open man here on the other side. That's Paul Shaner.
At this point, Kirk, I'm really impressed with the ability of Central's big kids to come out and play on the perimeter and pass the ball a little bit.
There's Cody Kerrigan with a 3, comes up short. Jake Merrill with the rebound, misses the first time. And Merrill's going to be called for the pushing foul. He's a little bit mad at himself right now for missing that basket from right underneath the glass.
No, that's one of those where I'm not sure last year Jake could have even caught the ball. And that time he has a pretty good look, makes a nice grab on it. Again, we talk about it, and I can't overemphasize it, Kirk. You should have seen the kid last spring. He was about 150 pounds, and Jake's probably put on 20 pounds in the weight room.
Just maturing and growing into his body. Indians applying a little bit of pressure now in the half court, out far on the guards. T-Birds in their offense, cutting through. There's Bailey. Back outside of Manjares. He looks for the 3-pointer. Now to Palzer. He'll pull up. Looks like he got slapped on the wrist. This could go against Dan Stock.
Sir Daniel Stock, and that's he's got good hands. He got the steal early, and he's trying to create some things here. But the one thing I think, and we talked about that in the opening segment, is that Dan Stock's got to stay on the floor, especially on Palzer. If he's going to hit the shot off the dribble, you've got to give him that and make sure that you don't pick up the cheap foul.
Stock called for the foul. Mike Palzer's at the line. He'll get to shoot 2. He misses his first. Indians with the 14-point lead, just under 5 minutes left in this one, 21-7 Central. T-Birds trying to close the lead here from the line. Palzer converts on his second free throw attempt. That lead's now cut to 13.
Mike Palzer also was an outstanding football player for Cheyenne East this year at the quarterback, and he's one of those kids that's maybe a better athlete than he is a basketball player, but really a competitor.
Cody Kerrigan working a little one-on-one game right now on Bailey, pulls up, misses, gets his own rebound, partially blocked inside by Josh Williams, and then number 40, Paul Shaner, came up with it, and in his shot attempt, he was fouled. This foul is going against 42 from East, Lonnie Bull.
That little segment there, we saw that probably at this point the difference in the game, and that is that Kerrigan gets the shot contested, but we talked about his size, his quickness, and jumping ability. He gets to the glass for a second shot, and swooping in behind him is Paul Shaner.
Shaner converts on his first free throw attempt. Here's his second one. That one comes up short. Rebound to the Indians. Cody Kerrigan outside to Stock for the three. And he's pumped up, and so are the Indians fans.
Really a nice look on that rebound for Kerrigan to kick the ball out. And I think defensively, East has got to make sure they know where Stock is. They can't let him spot up and shoot the ball.
Here's Palzer pulling up from the free throw line. That one's short. Shaner comes up with the loose ball out to Stock on the right wing. He pulls up from the free throw line, doesn't get it to fall. Stock gets his own rebound. Good hustle by the senior. Lob pass inside, intercepted by David Ellis.
Really a great defensive play by Ellis, who was out on the break and really got back.
Ill-advised pass there by Ellis, trying to force it a little bit. They didn't have numbers. Probably should have just pulled up and set up their offense.
Kevin McLeod wanting to slow the tempo down here a little bit.
25-8's the score, 3:48 left on the clock. Indians with the lead, working the ball inside to Shaner, turnaround jumper, falls short. Bailey with the rebound.
Pretty good defensive play again. 2 possessions there by Ellis. I think he got a hand and got a block on that particular shot.
Ball up top, now inside. Backing in, that's number 42, Lonnie Bull, and he pulled his way in there, but couldn't get the bucket.
A nice job by Jake Merrill, and we talked about the one thing he has got to do is keep the defender down on the floor, and it's like Lonnie Bull and every one of them that time he's looking where the 6'9" kid is for the block, and that makes a big difference on how aggressive you're going to be attacking the basket.
Here's Shaner from the corner with a 2-point attempt, doesn't get the roll. Merrill working hard under the boards for the rebound, gets it up, puts up a shot with his left hand, didn't even draw plexiglass on that, goes out of bounds. T-Birds ball. Massive substitutions coming in now for the T-Birds. Number 35, Josh Williams. We're going to take a break, though. We'll be right back after this, live from Story Gymnasium.
You know, I have been here at Point Frontier for 3 years, and I love it here. The people here are friendly. I'm able to meet and socialize with friends my age. I really should have done this years ago. It's like having all my needs taken care of and living independently. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Point Frontier is changing the way we think of retirement living. Our reputation and 10 years of service is a benchmark for the Cheyenne community.
To bring you the best tire service, it takes a team effort, and you'll find that at Plains A to Z and A to Z Tire. They carry a full line of tires from passenger to light truck, and the tire experts will get you in the game with the right tire to fit your driving needs. And to get your vehicle in shape, they have a well-trained staff of ASE certified technicians. For brakes, shocks, struts, mufflers, and alignments, see the team at Plains A to Z, Cheyenne, Wheatland, and Burns, and A to Z Tire in Laramie. And Plains A to Z wishes Central and East the best during the basketball season.
Pile of Mode, Frontier Days, Wyoming Cowboys, Capital Lumber, all great traditions in Wyoming.
With cold weather setting in, it's time to think about warmth, and Capital Lumber is the place to start. Capital Lumber carries the Heatilator gas fireplace line because Heatilator has the quality, integrity, and reliability you're looking for. Whether you need a direct vent gas, freestanding fireplace, or insert, Heatilator and Capital Lumber keep the home fires burning.
Capital Lumber is the place for all your building or remodeling needs. 1222 Dunn Avenue, Cheyenne.
We'll join the action in progress. 2:54 left in the second. Central High up 25-8. East with the ball. They're going to go into their half-court set. Mike Palzer inbounding the ball for the T-Birds.
At the 2:50 mark here, Kirk, in the first half, I think it's real important that East make sure that they don't get blown out of this thing. Maybe take a little time off the clock and just make sure that they get a good shot and stay close.
Well, we saw Gavin Manjares aggressive early, but since he came back in after suffering that ankle injury, he's been very quiet. Here he is with a long three-pointer, though. Just short on that, maybe a little bit out of his range. Matt, like you were talking about, it seems like the T-Birds aren't patient enough down on their offensive end.
Well, and as you pointed out, East hasn't been able to get their running game going, and I'm sure that they're unaccustomed to that, so you got to give a lot of credit to Central's defense limiting that, but I think East has got to make sure that they make the adjustment, be real patient, and against Central's solid half-court defense, get a good shot, get the ball on balance.
Stock shooting the three-pointer missing. Indians retain possession, going inside to Jake Merrill, backing in now at the top to Kerrigan. Over to Mark Linhart, dribble drive, jump stop, has it stripped away, but they're going to call Doug Bailey with the foul. It's going to be on the floor, though.
Central, at least in the first half, Kirk, is really showing why they're the ranked number 2 in the state. Not only do they have a lot of talent, a senior-dominated team, but they're very well coached as well. As you see, East has made I believe, the correct adjustment going to the 2-3 matchup. Central High on the opposite side as they're trying to break the zone down with ball movement, skip passes, and trying to penetrate the gaps.
Linhart missing his first run from the line. He was successful earlier at the line. He sank both of them. He has 2 points here in this first half. He'll get a second try now. Coming up, 1:58 left in this game. Central with the 25-8 lead. Mark Linhart trying to add to that on the line, and he does. 26-8 is the score on the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. Indians sticking with some full court pressure, and that's what they do it for, resulting in the turnover. Stock on the 3-on-2 break, pulls up, misses. He's missed 2 in a row. Back outside now to Stock. He draws quite a crowd of T-Bird defenders over to Jake Merrill, misses, own rebound, misses again, but dominating the boards are the Central Indians.
Probably more impressed right now, Kirk, than Central's size. I've only seen them play once this year, is their quickness, especially with Kerrigan and Shaner, as we talked about. They get up in the air, but they're also extremely quick getting to the basketball.
Under a minute 20 now left in this one. 26-8 is the score. Central with the lead. Dan Stock, the point guard, team captain, calling the play. Goes inside to Cody Kerrigan. Kerrigan pushed in the back, though. It's going to go against, I believe, Andy Ratliff. Oh, check that. It's going to go against number 10 from East, Jason Woodard. That's his first 8th team foul for the T-Birds. Checking in now for the T-Birds is number 3, Blake Sims. And number 11, Luke Johnson. Cody Kerrigan at the line, averaging 10.9 points per game. Also impressive, nearly 7 rebounds per game for the 6'4 senior. He's also an outside threat. Converts on his first free throw attempt. Central pushing their lead to 27-8. Jake Merrill getting a rest now as number 52 comes in for the Central Indians.
And that's Don Kane, and Don's a 6'6 sophomore. And as we look at a big Central lead, 27-8, especially in these games are not over, there's one thing that we've seen, and that is that Central has not played a lot of bench kids where East has. So we'll see if their legs don't hold up in the second half.
Nearing a minute left in the first half. Indians with the 19-point lead. Here's Paulser pulling up for 3. Not a real good look at the basket. Didn't square up. And like you said, Matt, they're rushing it.
Well, I think, Paulser almost drained that 3, and it would have been a big basket. But again, I think if Kevin McLeod is going to give up perimeter jump shots off the dribble, I think he's going to be real happy that as we look at Central not taking care of the basketball.
There's a turnover by the Indians. East will get the ball back, trailing by 19 with 40 seconds left. Do they go for 2 shots here or just try to set up 1?
Well, again, as we talked about, I think it's real important for them simply to get a good look. And there again, they're running the flex cut where they come off that on the baseline and taking advantage of maybe a mismatch inside with some inexperience on the part of Don Kane.
Don Kane checking in, picking up his first personal foul. That's 5 team fouls for the Indians. East will inbounds the ball with 32 seconds left, trailing by 19. Kick it out into the corner. There's a shot, and it's good. That one's sunk by Mike Glenn Soul, excuse me. Soul, that's 5 points for him, his first points of the second period. 18 seconds left here. Indians will look for the last shot. Lob pass out of bounds. That's 2 turnovers in a row for the Indians.
Nathan Sandiger there, again, trying to make the good pass. Kyle Hubbard was open on the weak side and making the skip pass, but I'm sure Kevin McLeod is just thinking control in one shot.
6 seconds left in this one. East looking for the last shot. There's going to be a foul on the floor, a push. Glenn Soul with the ball that time. He'll be fouled by Central's Kyle Hubbard. Kyle Hubbard's one of those guys, a senior 5'11" guard that Kevin McLeod talked about, having him coming off the bench, giving Dan Stock and Linhart a spell. Here's Soul with the desperation three, no good. And that'll do it for the first half. Indians with a 16-point lead. 27-11 is the score on the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. We're going to go now to Jessica Delich, our sideline reporter.
Thanks, Kirk. I'm joined here now with Coach Ed Weber. Coach, what are you going to tell the guys? They've got to come out and obviously command the scoreboard because Central's going in with a sizable lead right now.
We're not setting any screens, so we need to set some screens. And we're not rebounding. They're just so big. And they just keep on putting it inside, so we're going to have to do a better job boxing out.
Gavin's been in a little bit. Is the knee bothering him? Is he going to see more action in the second?
He'll see more action. He just needs to get in the game a little bit. You know, he took that one shot and was an air ball, and I think he's just a little hesitant right now.
Do you think the guys are a little intimidated? This is a big game, a lot of anxiety.
Well, like I told you last night, we've never played in this before. So we got a lot of kids that are inexperienced as far as playing in a game of this magnitude.
Thanks a lot, Coach. I know you got to talk to the team. That's it for now. We'll be back right after this commercial break here at Story Gymnasium.
Deciding on a truck? Get into these facts. The Mazda B2500 SE boasts aggressive styling. The Nissan Frontier is, well, nice. The Mazda B2500 SE comes with all this and an unsurpassed basic warranty that Frontier can't match. So, given these facts, we're pretty sure where you'll land. Right now, get $1,500 cash back on this tough and rugged Mazda truck. The Mazda B2500 SE.
At Pinnacle Bank, you'll find competitive and comprehensive financial products and services, including
checking, savings, and certificate of deposits,
consumer, business, and mortgage loans, 24-hour ATMs, telephone, and PC banking.
But that's only part of our story. What really sets us apart is our personal service. We take the time to get to know you and your individual needs. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. 1501 South Greeley Highway.
Telephone tag. To play, just leave someone a message that says, please call me. Chances are you won't be available when your call is returned, and now you have a pink message slip that says, please call me. A voicemail box from Rural Communications will end telephone tag. It's a private phone number just for detailed recorded messages that you can act upon. Telephone tag. If you're serious about your business, it's time to stop playing games.
This halftime show is brought to you by Point Frontier and Life Care Center of Cheyenne, promoting our continuum of care campus.
Welcome back to Story Gymnasium. Here's the Plains A to Z Burger King halftime score. The Central Indians up by a sizable margin, 16 points, 27-11. We're going to begin the Point Frontier and Life Care Center of Cheyenne halftime show by talking about and recapping some of the first half stats. Matt Strandigan, which team do you think came out and stuck to their game plan the best?
Well, I think Ed Weber said it all, and that is that they haven't been able to rebound. And if you can't rebound, you can't run. So I think a real credit has to go to Central, especially in the half-court defense and the work of Shaner Merrill and Cody Kerrigan on the boards. They've really limited what East High has wanted to do.
Well, the Central Indians have had it going from inside and outside. Jake Merrill's their leading scorer. Well, he's tied with Dan Stock, both with 8 apiece. So that shows some good balance by the Indians.
Well, and they've got a lot of kids that can score. And I think even more important in the balance scoring is where they've scored. Central has really made a difference on putback and second shots. Stock has shot not only the ball well, but he's also shot very good shots. So from the standpoint of Kevin McLeod, he's got to be very happy also that with nobody with foul trouble and with a team that's got relatively limited depth, he's got to be very pleased.
As for the East High Thunderbirds, they trail by 16 at this point. Really, they've had spread out scoring. Gavin Manjaris has not been a factor in this one in the first half. Glenn Soul, their high point man, with 5 points.
Well, and again, we talked about the difference in matchups, and Dan Stock has done a very good job. And we'll see if Manjaris isn't able to get on track in the second half. Dan Stocks played a lot of minutes. That's going to wear on you. And Manjaris is the type of kid that can score in bunches. So that we'll look for that in the second half.
Well, one of the themes going into this game was how familiar they were with each other, crosstown rivals. Some of these guys grew up together. In fact, we have relatives on the court today. Paul Shanor and Doug Bailey are cousins, and our Jessica Delich joins us now with a very special guest.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Maxine Shaner. Maxine is a very special woman. Both of her grandsons play for Central and for East. Doug Bailey for East and Paul Shaner for Central. How does it feel to watch your grandsons play each other?
I'm kind of torn in two pieces.
Now, either way, I guess it doesn't matter because, you know, if one of them wins, it's good. If one of them wins, it's good.
I can celebrate either way.
Now, you also have another grandson who's pretty special, and right now he's in Utah.
Yes, he is. That's Mark Bailey.
And he plays for the Cowboys, correct?
Yes, he does.
Wow. So this is an exciting day for your family. A lot of people here?
Yes, it is. I've sat through many an East Central ball game. All three sons played on the East team when they were young. Tom's the youngest one. He's Paul's father.
So basketball's in the blood, huh?
Yes.
Great. We'll go back to you guys now. Thanks.
All right, thanks for that, Jessica. We'll be right back with more of the Point Frontier and Life Care Center of Cheyenne halftime show right after these commercial messages.
Make your money count right now at Terrell Doyle Chevrolet on the all-new year 2000 Chevy cars and trucks. A whopping $2,000 discount. Example, a 2000 S10 Extra Cab, MSRP is $19,690. Discounted $2,000, you pay $17,690. Count your savings, your lower interest rates, trade-in allowance, and the discount. #1 dealer in Motor City, Terrell Doyle Chevrolet. Remember, if you don't buy from us, you'll pay too much. Terrell Doyle Chevrolet.
Just because we started in a caboose doesn't mean we're not ready for millennium use. Unified People's Federal Credit Union has been growing with the Cheyenne community since 1934, and we're ready to serve our members from now until 3004. Come see our beautiful new building at 414 East 18th Street and ask about membership eligibility. Unified People's Federal Credit Union. Unified for you. Member NCUSIF.
It's a matter of pride. Wyoming's oldest and largest dental program, Delta Dental, proudly provides dental plan services like no one else, offering flexible plan designs to meet the needs of employer groups as small as 2 and as large as 11,000. Taking pride in a network of dental professionals that include approximately 90% of Wyoming's dentists, all with the most thorough and cost-effective coverage obtainable. Delta Dental is proud to have helped make Wyoming smile for over 30 years. Call Delta Dental at 632-3313.
This halftime show is brought to you by Point Frontier and Life Care Center of Cheyenne, promoting our continuum of care campus.
Welcome back to Story Gymnasium, where the East High Thunderbirds trail the Central Indians 27-11. This is the Point Frontier and Life Care Center of Cheyenne halftime show. I'm joined now by John Schroff, Athletic Director at East High. John, you guys won the first game, but facing an uphill battle here in the second game.
Yeah, you got to give Central's defense credit. They're not allowing us good shots to the basket. We're not getting good looks at the basket. But I think Coach Weber, he'll come out here in the second half and he'll have something different to offer.
Now, your big gun, Gavin Manjaris, he's been very quiet in this first half, held scoreless. He's averaging 17 points per game. Have you heard anything about his injury?
No, I haven't. You know, from what I can tell, you got to credit whoever that guy guarding him. He's really in his face and he's not letting him get to the basket. So that has a lot to do with it, I think.
Well, hopefully for the sake of everybody here at Story Gymnasium, these High Thunderbirds will get back into this game. We'll have a competitive match here in the second half of this boys' game.
Yeah, I think we will.
I think so too. Thanks for joining us, John. We'll be hanging around and waiting till live action starts again. We can talk about the first half with John if you want to keep going, which I think we can, but I just got the word. We're going to go to a break now. We'll be right back with the Point Frontier and Life Care Center of Cheyenne halftime show.
At Pinnacle Bank, you'll find competitive and comprehensive financial products and services, including
checking, savings, and certificate of deposits,
consumer, business, and mortgage loans, 24-hour ATMs, telephone, and PC banking.
But that's only part of our story. What really sets us apart is our personal service. We take the time to get to know you and your individual needs. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. 1501 South Greeley Highway.
To bring you the best tire service, it takes a team effort, and you'll find that at Plains A to Z and A to Z Tire. They carry a full line of tires from passenger to light truck, and the tire experts will get you in the game with the right tire to fit your driving needs. And to get your vehicle in shape, they have a well-trained staff of ASE certified technicians. For brakes, shocks, struts, mufflers, and alignments, see the team at Plains A to Z, Cheyenne, Wheatland, and Burns, and A to Z Tire in Laramie. And Plains A to Z wishes Central and East the best during the basketball season.
Turn those pennies into dollars at Terrell Doyle Chevrolet. With 2,000 pennies in good credit, together with $20 over invoice price, cash factory rebates, a generous trade-in allowance, you're going to save big money. On a '99 Blazer, for example, 4-door LS, MSRP is $30,423. With the invoice and $20 over and a $2,500 rebate, you'll save over $5,000. Another reason why Terrell Doyle Chevrolet is #1 in savings. Remember, if you don't buy from us, you'll pay too much.
This halftime show is brought to you by Point Frontier and Life Care Center of Cheyenne, promoting our continuum of care campus.
Here's a quick look at the Plains A to Z Burger King halftime score. The Central Indians with that 16-point lead, 27-11. They're getting it done on the inside and the outside. Both Dan Stock and Jake Merrill with 8 points apiece. We're getting ready here for the start of the second half. What do the East High Thunderbirds have to do to get back into this game?
Well, I think as we talked at the close of that second quarter, and I'm sure Ed Weber realizes the same thing, if he wants to get into this game, especially early on in the second half before it gets out of control, he's got to make sure that they're patient on offense, and that doesn't mean be slow, but it means shoot good shots, because Central is not going to break down too much defensively, so they've got to shoot good shots, and as he pointed out as he went into halftime, they've got to rebound, which means use some of their quickness and get to the offensive boards.
Somebody for East has got to come up with the hot hand, be it Gavin Manjaris or anyone else, Glenn Soul, but they've got to do it. Here's an easy basket for the Indians to start out to have Jake Merrill off the Mark Linhart miss. Merrill now with 10 points. He's the leading scorer in this game.
On Central coming out with a set play with the back cut for Linhart, the layup, but as we saw just as the first half looked, the difference was not Linhart going to the basket as much as them getting to the offensive boards.
There's an example of what we're talking about. East not being very patient, not getting into their set. David Ellis, the 6'4" forward, driving the lane, dishing off when it looked like he had a good look at the basket. Ball goes out of bounds. Indians possess the ball now.
I think this is a good move by Coach Weber, getting up and picking up Stock 94 feet as we see Stock with the offensive foul. But again, I don't think Dan Stock's going to turn the ball over in the backcourt against pressure, but what it does is make him work that much harder, which might take its toll offensively.
Dan Stock with a nice move, froze his defender, then had an open path to the lane, but Lonnie Bull, the senior center, stepped in, was in position, took the charge for his team. East gets the ball back, trying to chip away at this lead now, which is now 29-11. Up top with the ball, number 34, Gavin Manjaris, now inside to Bailey. Bailey working with his back towards the basket, spins around, and he is packed by Kerrigan. And again, this time Kerrigan is not going to be called for the foul. It's going to go against Linhart, so Kerrigan with 2 blocks. Second one won't go into the stat book, but I'm sure he might have a few words next time he lines up next to Bailey.
Well, and Cody Kerrigan didn't agree with the call, but I really like what not only East has done, but what Doug Bailey has done specifically in the first half. When you saw that ball go inside, it's almost like they were giving Central too much credit for their defense and looking to kick the ball back out. That time Doug Bailey got the ball on the block, didn't hesitate, and took the ball to Kerrigan and make him block it, which he did the first one, but took it to him again to get the foul and onto the line.
The foul was against Linhart. That's his second. He got called for slapping the wrist, and there's a big problem right there. Doug Bailey going to the line, doesn't convert on either free throw. He still trails by 18, 29-11. 6 minutes, 45 seconds left in the third period.
East, as we noticed, Kirk, they're out of the zone, out of the matchup zone, and picking up in the half-court man-to-man.
You know, as East has not been patient on their end, Central has. They've really been patient, waiting for a good shot selection. That was Cody Kerrigan driving the lane. He took it up strong, but will be fouled on the wrist by number 24, the Thunderbirds. That's Doug Bailey. His third personal. Bailey's going to have to spend some time now on the bench next to his head coach, Ed Weber.
Central, as we talked about what they do offensively with the size matchup with Kerrigan and Shaner, I'm really impressed again by Kerrigan's ability that time to put the ball on the floor and attack the basket.
After Cody Kerrigan connects on his first free throw attempt, Mike Palzer checks in for Doug Bailey, who has 3 fouls. And that's not a good sign when Bailey goes to the bench with that 3rd personal foul. He had no points in the first half, but looked like he was coming around here in the second half. Rebound goes to Palzer. Here's, Ellis pushing up the floor, and then Stock with another steal and a wide open layup. I believe that's his 3rd steal of the game. Stock really making use of his quickness.
Well, and we talked about that senior leadership, and that time Stock has not been extending and not picking up, but he just picks his opportunity in an ill-advised pass.
Indians starting out the second half on a 5-0 run. T-Birds have not scored. They still stuck at 11. There's a shot by Glenn Soule, comes up short, tried to reverse on the baseline. Stock with the ball. He'll pull up from 15 and drill it. Folks, if the T-Birds don't make a move soon, this game could get out of hand. Central leads 34-11. 5:45 left in the 3rd period. East still scoreless in the second half. Very bad pass that time by Glenn Soule, trying to get inside underneath to David Ellis, and Indians defense anticipated that one. Easy steal for Central.
Well, and again, you don't want to take a timeout this early, because right now the difference, at least with that little run, has been a little bit of leadership in Dan Stock.
Paul Shaner with the make off of Jake Merrill's miss. Indians extending that second half run to 9, 36-27. Here's a shot attempt by Manjares. I don't think he called the bank, but he'll take it anyways. 3-pointer for Gavin Manjares. He breaks his scoreless game. He finally gets on the board. 3 for Manjares. T-Birds with 14 points now. 2 Central's 36. Lob inside to Jake Merrill. Easy lob, easy basket. They were fronting him. Heads up play by Cody Kerrigan to recognize that front. Lob it in there to the 6'9" center.
Well, it's really a catch-22. East is down big, so they're trying to come out and match up man for man. But again, the difference that time is offensively the inside seal by Merrill and the good perimeter lob pass by Linhart.
Another turnover by the T-Birds. Central with the ball. They're going to call a timeout. That's a strange move. You would think that East would call a timeout. Anyhow, we'll be back. Central leads 38-14. We'll be right back after this message.
Just because we started in a caboose doesn't mean we're not ready for millennium use. Unified People's Federal Credit Union has been growing with the Cheyenne community since 1934, and we're ready to serve our members from now until 3004. Come see our beautiful new building at 414 East 18th Street and ask about membership eligibility. Unified People's Federal Credit Union. Unified for you. Member NCUSIF.
At Pinnacle Bank, you'll find competitive and comprehensive financial products and services, including
checking, savings, and certificate of deposits,
consumer, business, and mortgage loans, 24-hour ATMs, telephone, and PC banking.
But that's only part of our story. What really sets us apart is our personal service. We take the time to get to know you and your individual needs. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. 1501 South Greeley Highway.
Pile of Mode, Frontier Days, Wyoming Cowboys, Capital Lumber, all great traditions in Wyoming.
Inside or out, Benjamin Moore Paints can add a little color to your life. And Capital Lumber is your one-stop headquarters for Benjamin Moore custom color paints, brushes, and rollers. Benjamin Moore and Capital Lumber, making your life more colorful.
Capital Lumber is the place for all your building or remodeling needs. 1222 Dunn Avenue, Cheyenne.
Here's a look at the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. The Central Indians starting out the second half on 11-3 run because of reasons like this. Jake Merrill, Central's 6'9" center, being fronted by the defender. The lob pass inside, easy basket for Jake Merrill, 2 of his 10 points. We'll go back now to live action. Indians with the ball, 38-14 to score. 4:20 is on the clock. Things getting a little bit desperate now for the T-Birds.
Well, I think that Kevin McLeod timeout was probably as much to give some of his starters a rest as it was a timeout to affect tempo. And with that, he's got a couple of subs in, Sandiger off the bench as well as Kyle Hubbard.
Looks like we're going to have a kicking violation against Mike Palzer, so the ball will remain in the Indians' hands. 4:03 left, Central up by 24 points. And coming into the game is number 40, Paul Shanor. He'll check in for Jake Merrill. So a little bit of a small look now from the Indians.
But again, as we talked about, little earlier, East is in a difficult situation as we look at Stock with the nice screen and roll to the basket, but he's kind of taken over this game a little bit and made this thing what was once close, relatively speaking, at halftime, and now it's looking like a little bit of a blowout.
Stock with 14 points, 6 in the second half. There's Mike Palzer underneath for a basket. Just East fifth point, of the second half. Central now leads 40-16, 3:37 left in the game. Stock with the ball goes around his back. Little pressure defensively by the T-Birds. They get the turnover. Palzer comes up with the loose ball. He'll look to set up their half-court game. Driving right side is Palzer. Looking for the open man inside. To Josh Williams. Williams brings it around top to Gavin Majaris. He'll fire, fade away. Good look there. Turnaround jumper, kind of a fadeaway. Didn't take long for him to turn and fire that ball towards the hoop.
Well, we talked about Majaris. Central doesn't break down defensively. They're on the floor and they still make him shoot a tough shot, but the kind of talent he is, he's able to drain that.
There's Cody Kerrigan inside working with 2 defenders on him. Finds the seam, converts the basket. 42-18 is the score, and we have a push. Looks like it's going to go against East High School. Check that. Central High.
We got Kyle Hubbard with the foul in the backcourt, and I'm not sure Kevin McLeod is real happy about that. But you got to give credit again, Mike Palzer at the offensive end, taking the ball to the basket, then forcing the turnover, and again Majaris getting back into it. So there is a lot of time left, and if he can make sure that they keep their heads in the game, they can make a run.
Majaris isn't the second leading scorer in the conference for no reason. He averages over 17 points per game. Held scoreless in the first half. If he can find his rhythm and get back into this, he's going to play a large part in the T-Birds coming back and getting back into this game.
I got time East getting called for a illegal block or moving screen, but I really like what Coach Weber's doing offensively, spreading the court a little bit, making Central come out and chase them a little bit defensively, because we've talked a lot about Majaris and again Bailey and some of the other kids, but one facet of this East High School team is they've got a lot of kids that can score in addition to Majaris.
They do spread it out. East High Thunderbirds going to the full court press now, trying to force the turnovers. This is like what the scenario we saw in the first game where Central was trailing, went to the press, trying to get back into it, to see if it'll work this time for the T-Birds.
And even if it doesn't force turnovers, Kirk, I think what it does is it makes Central work real hard, and they've got a lot of kids getting a lot of minutes, and hopefully that'll take its toll as we make the turn into the fourth quarter.
Nathan Sandiger with the ball, passes up top to Kyle Hubbard. Hubbard goes inside to Shaner, turnaround jumper. Shaner with a pretty shot, banks it off the glass, up and in for the Indians. 44-18, nearing 2 minutes left in the third period. Matt, when do the T-Birds have to make their move? When is it do or die time for them?
Well, I think there's really a lot of time left, and I think right now what they're doing is correct at both ends. They're picking up the tempo, and defensively as they extend, it makes Central play a little bit faster. We talked about the fact that they're playing primarily 5 and 6 kids, Central that is. And again, you just with a kid like Majaris, Palzer, and some of the other kids, a string of threes, and this is a 10-point game, so still a lot of time.
Jason Woodard and Blake Sins checking in for the T-Birds. Leaving the game was number 11, Luke Johnson. Central will be inbounding the ball underneath the basket. Mark Linhart will be taking care of those duties. There's a good look at some of the crazy Central fans out here today. This place is nearly to capacity, seated to capacity. Treated to a couple of good games. Strong move inside by Mark Linhart off the cut. He was fouled. Looked like someone had to get him with the body, and that was the indication by the referee, because the block on the ball was clean.
Really a nice job by Mark Linhart taking the ball hard to the basket, but again, defensively, East did a nice job of cutting him off. A lot of kids funneled to the basket, but just a step late there.
David Ellis, the 6'4" junior forward, picking up the foul, his first. Each team with 3 team fouls here with 1:50 left in the third period. And Linhart connects on his second free throw. 45-18 is the score on the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. Under 2 minutes left in the third period. East trying to get back into this one, looking for probably some three-pointers or an opportunity to go inside, draw some fouls here, stop that clock. That's what they do. Here's number 44, Ellis with the shot. They called that offensive on him, and I believe they were correct in that assumption.
Well, Jake Merrill did a nice job. I think the kid we talked about last year would have tried to leave his feet, go airborne, and block the shot. And that time Jake plays within himself, moves his seat, does a nice job of taking away the baseline, and consequently, that offensive charge is just like a steal.
Second foul on Ellis. Indians working on their 45-18 lead. There's Nathan Sandiger with the drive. He's got an open shot. Take that. He airballs. Coming down with the board, though, goes out of bounds. East retains possession. 1:11 left here. East High trailing 45-18 to the number 2 team in the state, the Central Indians. It's really a 3-possession game at this point, I think, with a minute left. You would think East would want to get at least 2 shots here. Here's Soul with the dribble drive. He turns it over inside to Andy Radliff. And that's a good move by Andy Radliff, drawing the foul, stopping the clock, and going to the line.
Well, it really is, and I thought Nathan Sandiger did a pretty good job of doubling down in the post, but he's got to remember he's got big Jake Merrill in there at 6'9", and they're going to have to shoot over him, so you don't want to put the foul on the floor and let East score with the clock standing still.
Andy Radliff has seen a lot of playing time today. Hasn't got on the board yet. Number 32, Radliff, he's a junior, 6'3", plays the guard forward, or sometimes he can even post up and play with his back to the basket. Radliff comes into this game one of the leading rebounders for the T-Birds with 18 on the season to go with his 10 assists. His second shot goes in and out. 53 seconds left. Indians leading 45-19. Still time for another East possession, though, in this period. Here's Kyle Hubbard going behind his back. Stock puts up a 3-pointer. Long rebound. Hubbard. Jake Merrill with the tip. No, that was Cody Kerrigan. East High comes up with the ball. Nearing 30 seconds left. Kicking it back out to Soul. He'll look for a shot up top now to Ellis from long range. Downtown three-pointer. David Ellis with his first points of the game. The three-pointer, a timely three-pointer for the T-Birds. 18 seconds left. Central leading 45-22.
Well, we had talked about a lot of the abilities of the East High kids, and Ellis at about 6'4" hit that one from about 22 feet.
Pass inside from Nathan Sandiger, and I don't mean to be overly critical, but Sandiger, that's about his 3rd turnover in this game. He's seen limited playing time. 5 seconds left now for the T-Birds. One chance for a final shot. Blake Sims puts it up. No good off the backboard, and that'll do it for the 3rd period. Central leading 45-22. We'll be right back to Story Gymnasium after this commercial break.
You know, I have been here at Point Frontier for 3 years, and I love it here. The people here are friendly. I'm able to meet and socialize with friends my age. I really should have done this years ago. It's like having all my needs taken care of and living independently. You know, I wouldn't want it any other way.
Point Frontier is changing the way we think of retirement living. Our reputation and 10 years of service is a benchmark for the Cheyenne community.
Turn those pennies into dollars at Terrell Doyle Chevrolet. With 2,000 pennies in good credit, together with $20 over invoice price, cash factory rebates, a generous trade-in allowance, you're going to save big money. On a '99 Blazer, for example, 4-door LS, MSRP is $30,423. With the invoice and $20 over and a $2,500 rebate, you'll save over $5,000. Another reason why Terrell Doyle Chevrolet is #1 in savings. Remember, if you don't buy from us, you'll pay too much.
Telephone tag. To play, just leave someone a message that says, "Please call me." Chances are you won't be available when your call is returned, and now you have a pink message slip that says, "Please call me." A voicemail box from Rural Communications will end telephone tag. It's a private phone number just for detailed recorded messages that you can act upon. Telephone tag. If you're serious about your business, it's time to stop playing games.
Well, we're back at Story Gymnasium for the start of the 4th period. There's a look at the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. The Indians up by 23, but not because of shots like that. That was David Ellis, was one of the few bright spots in the second half for the T-Birds. 3-pointer there from the top of the key. T-Birds went into halftime trailing by 16, trail by the end of the 3rd by 23. So tough start to the second half in that one. Here's a good look at the basket by number 35, Josh Williams for the T-Birds. Can't hit the 3 from the corner. Rebound to Dan Stock of the Indians, pushing the ball up the floor. And this is a chance now for the Indians. I think they could slow things down. That would probably help their cause.
Well, and Easton, I'm sure, is going to want to keep it up tempo and start shooting threes. But again, you're down 20. You got to make sure that right now make a run. Whether you beat 20 or 30 is not that big a deal. So they've got to start being aggressive.
Going to have an offensive foul called on Kyle Hubbard, the senior guard, off the bench. Came up with a loose ball, went strong to the hoop, but was called for being out of control. We do have a final score from the Utah-Wyoming game. The Wyoming Cowboys with a tough chore today in Salt Lake City. They lose to the University of Utah by 8, a final of 69-61. The Cowboys now fall to 1-3 in the Mountain West Conference, 0-2 on their last road trip. Here's Gavin Majaris putting it up from long range. That one's no good. Nice hustle there by the T-Birds to come up with the loose ball. Josh Williams calls her up top now to Majaris. Majaris driving, stopped, popped, and you heard it at home, nothing but net. Gavin Majaris starting to assert himself a little bit more here at the start of the fourth period. Indians still with that 21-point lead, 45-24.
Two good possessions that time for East High School. Doug Bailey does a real nice job of getting position and drawing the offensive foul. And then we talked about the explosive ability of Majaris shooting a jump shot and making a tough shot.
Here's a take by Stock, misses, rebound. Cody Kerrigan for the easy basket. That's 2 shots in a row. Stock's missed, but still a nice move by him to get to the basket, put the freeze move on his defender, showing his quickness and his athleticism.
And we see again what we've seen all day, and that is that Cody Kerrigan getting to the defensive board and limiting him to one shot.
Paul Shanor of Central going for the steal, and David Ellis made him pay his second three-pointer. He hits from the left wing. Ellis now with 6 points in the second half, both three-pointers.
I think we're seeing a Kevin McLeod timeout because the last 3 possessions we've seen Central do something they haven't done all day, and that is leave their feet and be unsound defensively, and consequently 3 breakdowns on the defensive end and 3 East High School baskets. And I'm sure Kevin's over there right now saying, be solid, do what you've done the first 3 quarters of the game. Don't get caught up in the fact that you got a 20-point lead and get sloppy.
Well, Matt, you know the situation. 6:17 left. Central up by 20. Is it too late for the T-Birds to get back in this? Is it beyond a doubt now?
No, I don't think it is, Kirk, for one reason, and that is Central's got primarily 7 kids that are getting a lot of minutes right now. Mark Linhart's had to work like crazy all game to limit Majaris and keep the touches down for him, and that wears on you. And I think if at any time, maybe the best chance that East has had in this game is now in the last 6 minutes, but if they're going to make a run, it's got to come soon.
Well, taking a look at the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard, the Central Indians led at halftime by 16. Their lead has now been stretched out to 20. They're on top of the T-Birds by a score of 47-27. 6 minutes, 17 seconds left. Indians ball. Linhart trying to inbound it. Kicking violation, though, by Josh Williams. Central will get another chance at this one.
We get a look at Mark Linhart there right in front of our table. He's kind of been an unsung. He hasn't scored a lot of points. He's countered at the free throw line, but to keep a kid like Majaris, as good an offensive player as he is down, that's kind of a Hercules effort for him on the defensive end as we look at Palzer on the reach.
Yeah, silly foul there by Palzer on the reach, and that just works against what they're trying to do at this point, applying defensive pressure and trying to force some turnovers and get back in this game. It does stop the clock, though, for East, so that goes in their favor, and neither team is in the bonus yet, so the foul goes out of bounds and not to the line for the 1-and-1 situation. Just under 6 minutes, East still trailing by 20 to the Central Indians, 47-27. Here's Kyle Hubbard on a drive to the baseline, dishes back out to Paul Shanor. Tough fight for the loose ball. Gavin Majaris came down with it out of control. They call him for the travel. So the ball will go back to the Indians.
Kevin McLeod real unhappy. He thought Paul Shanor got fouled on that. An awful lot of contact, but a little happy maybe about the traveling violation.
Andy Radliff and Glenn Soul checking back in for the T-Birds. Central inbounding it from underneath their basket. Out top to Linhart. Into the corner to Stock. Stock trying to get to the low post. He does. Shanor with his left hand. Left hand again on the retry. Doesn't get either one to fall. Let's see if the T-Birds can come back and get a big bucket here with 5:30 left in the game. Majaris pulling up with 3. Rims out. Rebound to Hubbard. You know, it's interesting. The Central Indians have been playing a large part of this game with 3 guards, Hubbard, Stock, and Linhart. What do you attest that to? What do you attribute that to?
Well, in part, it's, I think, maybe a matchup situation with East quickness. They're not very small, and I'm sure they're looking at that to maybe get a little bit better ball handling, a little bit better control, and maybe some decisions in the process, especially late.
Good move on the other end by Cody Kerrigan, backing in. Fake to his right, then is to his left. And then the Thunderbirds trying to push the ball up the floor. David Ellis with the inadvertent pass ahead to Mike Palzer. Turnover. Central will pick it up. A couple of players checking back in. Jake Merrill in for the Central Indians, as is Doug Bailey for East. And it looks like Luke Johnson will check back in for East High.
One observation that I had in talking with Coach Weber last night, he mentioned that I said, have there been any surprises for you in your first year? And he said one of the surprises is how hard these kids have worked. He said in the years past, since he's been at East High School, he's had a lot of kids that they've always played hard in games, but he said the group that he has this year works extremely hard in practice too. And I think as we look at the disparity on the scoreboard right now, the key is to be playing well at regional tournament time, and I'm sure they're going to take a look at what they've done well and what they haven't done well in this game and build.
Keep in mind that East High was 26-2 last year. They went to the state semifinals game where they lost the finals game. They lost in the finals. Of course, Mark Bailey leading the way last year for the Thunderbirds. They returned this year with just 2 senior starters, and only those 2 starters have varsity experience. And it's showing here early in Southern Wyoming Athletic Conference play. Plenty of time, though, this year for them to come back, make a run in the conference, get themselves in good shape for the state tournament.
Kirk, I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong information. You were right. Last year, Cheyenne East did lose into the semifinals, with Laramie making it to the finals against the Gillette Camels. But you're right, program's got an awful lot of good tradition and good players and a sound background in coaching. Eddie Weber's coached for 18 years in this district, 9 years at the junior high level, 9 years as an assistant to Dale Ward. So East High will be doing some right things for years to come.
On the east end, Radliff missed, and then Central tried to push the ball ahead to Cody Kerrigan, but the ball went out of bounds. 4:09 left on the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. Central sitting on that 22-point lead, 49-27 East, trying to make a move to get back in it. There was Gavin Majaris with a shot from the baseline. Gets his own rebound, loose ball on the floor. We're going to have a jump ball. Possession arrow going in favor of the T-Birds.
Well, and East hasn't backed off in terms of trying to get back into this thing. Majaris does a nice job of making the baseline drive and elevate, just didn't get the shot to go down. And I'm not so sure that the difference right now is not so much East's inability to make the baskets, but Central is a very good defensive team.
There's a long pass to Dan Stock, wide open. That was reminiscent of his football days. Linhart to Dan Stock, 2 football players. They might have tried that a few times with their pads on.
I think we had the reverse order. That time we had the receiver, Mark Linhart, thrown to the quarterback. It was exactly a payback.
3:40 left in this. Central up 51-27. A shot and a make on the bank shot by Doug Bailey. Bailey, just his 2 points in this game. That's got to be a little bit of disappointment for Doug Bailey. He came in averaging 8.4 points per game. We saw him earlier in the first half with a couple of moves with his back to the basket, but really just ineffective in this one. We'll be right back. There's 3:22 left. Central up 51-29. We'll be back to Story Gym after this break.
To bring you the best tire service, it takes a team effort, and you'll find that at Plains A to Z and A to Z Tire. They carry a full line of tires from passenger to light truck, and the tire experts will get you in the game with the right tire to fit your driving needs. And to get your vehicle in shape, they have a well-trained staff of ASE certified technicians. For brakes, shocks, struts, mufflers, and alignments, see the team at Plains A to Z, Cheyenne, Wheatland, and Burns, and A to Z Tire in Laramie. And Plains A to Z wishes Central and East the best during the basketball season.
It's a matter of trust. Delta Dental of Wyoming is a name people have trusted for a long time. That trust starts with flexible plan designs that meet the needs of employer groups large and small. The trust continues with fast and accurate claims processing and minimal paperwork for you and your employees. You can trust Delta Dental as Wyoming's dental plan specialists. That's all they do, helping make Wyoming smile for over 30 years. Call 632-3313.
Make your money count right now at Terrell Doyle Chevrolet on the all-new year 2000 Chevy cars and trucks. A whopping $2,000 discount. Example, a 2000 S10 Extra Cab, MSRP is $19,690. Discounted $2,000, you pay $17,690. Count your savings, your lower interest rates, trade-in allowance, and the discount. #1 dealer in Motor City, Terrell Doyle Chevrolet. Remember, if you don't buy from us, you'll pay too much. Terrell Doyle Chevrolet.
51-29 is the score on the A to Z Plains Tire and Burger King scoreboard. Gavin Manjaris with the steal off the inbounds play. That was a replay there of Dan Stock. We'll go back to live action. Gavin missed the layup. Central gets the ball back and they press it down the floor. Linhart with the drive, and Doug Bailey's going to be called on the reach in.
A real tough break coming out of that timeout. Manjaris makes a great defensive play with the steal, lays it up soft, just gets the tough roll, and Stock's there. But it's been that kind of day for Dan Stock.
And it's been that kind of day for Gavin Manjaris. He's just seemed a little bit out of it. Slight problem with an injury in the first half. But he's been the leading scorer for the T-Birds in the second half, putting up 8 points for East High. That's Mark Linhart at the free throw line. He hits his first.
One thing is we get a look at Mark Linhart as he converts or makes an attempt to convert another free throw. He's been at the free throw line an awful lot. He's going to point out he's taking the ball to the basket and consequently getting the free throw opportunities, but that time he knocks down his own 3 of the game.
Just under 3 minutes now, 55-29 is the score. Central with a comfortable lead. Matt, I would say it is time for desperation for the East High Thunderbirds, where they should just start throwing them up.
Well, and they're running out of time now, and again, as you take a look at it, Kevin McLeod is a typical coach, I guess. He's got a lot of starters out there, one reserve. He understands that the game's not over till it sounds, that he's not willing to let East get back into this thing.
There it was, Josh Williams with a 3-point try of his own. That one came up short. Central leading 55-29, 2:25 left on the clock. Pass to a cutting Cody Kerrigan from Dan Stock. Stock's pleading to the official as if Kerrigan were held up or something to that effect.
Real good discipline by Central High School there. He's doing a nice job defensively, and as soon as they overplayed the passing line, Cody Kerrigan taken advantage of and almost got the layup off the back cut.
Well, it's been all Central High in the second half. They led at halftime by 16. They lead now by 24. 26. Wasn't a math major in school.
I'm not going to criticize you on that either, Kirk. I'm with you.
2:09 left. Central up by 26. Josh Williams letting the ball roll up the floor so the clock doesn't stop. He'll shoot from the corner on the baseline. Jake Merrill with one of his numerous rebounds on the day. Hands off to Stock. Stock will bring it up. Now under 2 minutes, Stock working one-on-one, finds an open shot, and he's swatted away with enthusiasm by number 15 from East High, Mike Palzer. That's one of the few bright spots in the second half for the East High T-Birds.
Well, Dan Stock that time getting it blocked, but as you watch Dan getting an awful lot of pressure defensively as he comes out of the game, it's a real advantage to have a kid like that. Ed Weber talked about Josh Williams really starting to come and play well and do the things that a point guard should do in running the East High offense. And on the flip side of it, you got a guy like Dan Stock, a senior, making all the right decisions and handling East pressure from beginning to end.
Well, Central has called a timeout with 1:48 left in the game, and at this point, what's the coaching strategy behind calling that timeout?
Well, I think in this particular case, you've got to, again, it's an emotional game, and I don't think either team here always felt like in these games, if I'm on the winning side in the winning huddle, I wanted the kids to show an awful lot of class in victory, and as well on the flip side, a lot of class in defeat, because you got good programs, good friends, coaches know each other. These kids have gone to school forever, and you always want the game to end on a high note. Remember one radio broadcaster years ago had 13 seconds left in the game, and we had a lead at that time. He said, why on earth would a coach take a timeout at 13 seconds left? And it was in response to a reaction that one of our players was having with somebody in the stands, and you certainly don't want it to turn into that. And again, before we run out of time, Kirk, I want to, on behalf of really Laramie County School District #1 in both programs, extend our thanks and appreciation to CBS 5, you, Mike DeLear, and all of your staff for what you've done. It's probably been twice in 20 years of Cheyenne basketball. This game's televised. We're very appreciative of your time and effort.
No problem. It's our pleasure. We love doing that. The big thing is I think the kids really enjoy it. Sometimes these girls and boys high school teams don't get enough attention as they deserve, especially with University of Wyoming basketball going on. So as long as they enjoy it, you can count me in being here anytime, and you can say the same for News Channel 5.
As we talked about Coach Weber's observation about his kids, everybody plays hard in games, but I think it typifies the kind of East High kids that he has this year. They practice hard. And working at Cheyenne Central, I know all these kids too well, and not only they're well coached, but it's a great bunch of kids in the classroom as well.
Couple of subs getting in now for the Indians. Number 4, Jared Bayless, and number 13, Mike Spade. They check into the game. There's Ellis with the shot, no good. East High still playing with the majority of their starters. Number 3, Blake Sims is in for Gavin Majaris. He's sitting on the bench. Going to the scorer's table now is number 11, Luke Johnson. He'll check in, as will number 21, Trent Keller for the Central Indians. 1:08 left. This game's going to go the way of Central. They're winning, leading the game 55-29. Now 1 minute left in this game. Jared Bayless with the ball on the baseline and the turnover. Doug Bailey comes up with the loose ball.
And again, you continue to play your starters if you're Cheyenne East, because these guys are going to be in this game again down the road in the future, and they've got to learn from beginning to end. It's a very inexperienced team, maybe not necessarily young, but inexperienced.
Well, it's a long season in the Southern Wyoming Athletic Conference. They'll have several more games, and including with that another matchup with Central High to get back on the winning track. 39 seconds left in this one. Let's go to our sideline reporter, Jessica Delich.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Dan Stock's father. Dan's had a great game today.
Thank you. He's played well, but I think that's the coaching scheme they had to slow the game down and get it to the right kids, and that's part of what he does well.
Did you ever imagine that the scoreboard would turn out like this?
Not at all, and I'm sure that it won't be that way next time.
That's right. They will face off again in about a month, so we'll be here to watch the game again. Back to you guys.
Thanks for that, Jessica. You know, Matt, it'll be interesting to see when they face off again how much East will have matured as a team and how far they've come.
Well, I think we'll certainly see that, and as we saw Wally Stock, father of Dan, and he's had a couple of sons that have been outstanding players. I thought it was interesting how relaxed Wally looked. In last year's game, I remember Wally's eyes bugging out. He's on the stands and on the officials. So if East doesn't mature, I'm very proud that Wally Stock has matured as a fan.
Were they up by 26 in last year's game?
I don't think so.
In fact, they lost both to East High last year. Well, East High getting a chance to run the floor a little bit. David Ellis on the break with. He'll go to the line. He was fouled. Foul will go against number 4, Jared Bayless, 6'1" senior.
As we get a good look there at David Ellis, I've been very impressed with him. I stood next to him in the doorway, and he seemed a lot bigger than 6'4", and he's got a good perimeter game, and he's had a tough matchup, and scoring 9 points in this game, he's been very solid.
You know, Ellis has that big body, can handle the ball well, keeps the ball down on the floor when he's dribbling it. Very versatile player for the Thunderbirds. 16 seconds left in this. Central leads 55-32. Here's a pass out to Nathan Sanders. They're going to keep the ball on. The ball going out of bounds. Central will retain possession. 8.1 seconds left in this game. Central will be 1-0 in Southern Wyoming Athletic Conference play. Taking a look at the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. Lead by 23 points for Central, 8. Going now under 5 seconds in this one. Central will move on to 1-0 in conference play. East falling to 0-1 in conference play, 4-8 on the season. Well, any final thoughts from this one, Matt?
Well, it's a good win for Cheyenne Central, and again, I don't think he's going to be too disappointed because again, it's a conference game. That it's important, but it's a learning experience. And Central's not ranked number 2 in the state, Kirk, for no reason at all. They're a senior-dominated team. They're well coached. They shoot the ball well. They've got quickness. They've got size, and I think I'm sure Kevin McLeod is very pleased because this might be very well the best game that Central's played this year.
Okay, players and fans bowling around on the court now. John Schroff is at midcourt for the presentation of the trophy. We had the Capitol Bowl in football. I don't know if you would call this the Capitol game, or it's not a bowl, we're in a dome type arena.
Well,
okay, we're going to go to our Jessica Delich now with Central High coach Kevin McLeod.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with head coach Kevin McLeod. Congratulations, great game. you and I talked yesterday that you guys had to play a good, strong defensive game, and that's exactly what you guys did.
Well, you know, I never really expected this right now, but, you know, kids came out really determined, and we put it on them defensively. They missed some shots early, which I think was a big key, because if they get rolling, boy, they're really good. And I think we just kind of kept aggressive defensively and put it on them and gave us a chance.
Now, you guys came off of 2 weeks, you know, of no play since that invitational. How hard was it to get back into the flow?
Well, you know, we didn't have a game scheduled between our tournament and this game, so we purposefully went out and tried to find a game because I didn't think we needed 2 weeks off before this game, and I think that really kind of might have been a key also. Anytime you take that long a time off, it really gets your leg weary and stuff, so I think that might have been a key also.
Well, congratulations. It was a great game, and good luck the rest of the season. And we'll be back right after this commercial break to celebrate with the Central fans.
Deciding on a truck? Get into these facts. The Mazda B2500 SE boasts aggressive styling. The Nissan Frontier is, well, nice. The Mazda B2500 SE comes with all this and an unsurpassed basic warranty that Frontier can't match. So, given these facts, we're pretty sure where you'll land. Right now, get $1,500 cash back on this tough and rugged Mazda truck. The Mazda B2500 SE.
It's a matter of pride. Wyoming's oldest and largest dental program, Delta Dental, proudly provides dental plan services like no one else, offering flexible plan designs to meet the needs of employer groups as small as 2 and as large as 11,000. Taking pride in a network of dental professionals that include approximately 90% of Wyoming's dentists, all with the most thorough and cost-effective coverage obtainable. Delta Dental is proud to have helped make Wyoming smile for over 30 years. Call Delta Dental at 632-3313.
At Pinnacle Bank, you'll find competitive and comprehensive financial products and services, including
checking, savings, and certificate of deposits,
consumer, business, and mortgage loans, 24-hour ATMs, telephone, and PC banking.
But that's only part of our story. What really sets us apart is our personal service. We take the time to get to know you and your individual needs. Pinnacle Bank, the way banking should be. 1501 South Greeley Highway.
There's a look at the Plains A to Z Burger King final score from today's basketball game. Central Indians prevail 55-32. They move to 1-0 in the Southern Wyoming Athletic Conference. East falls to 0-1. We're joined now by our Delta Dental player of the game from East High School, Gavin Manjaris. Gavin, thanks for coming and joining us here.
Yeah.
Tough first half for you, but you got things back on track there in the second half.
Yeah, we came out a little flat. We weren't expecting to play this physical. I mean, we knew it was going to be a physical game and all, but the rest really let us play, and during the second half, we kind of got a little more physical, and I think that helped us a little.
Well, speaking of physical, you went down in the first half with a knee injury. Can you explain what happened there?
Well, I was just bumping him a little, and we collided knees, and it just deadened my knee for a minute, but it was fine in the second half. It was just a little sore.
Like you said, you started feeling better in the second half. You had a three-pointer. You had 7 points all in the second half.
Yeah.
Was it something where your coach Ed Weber said, "Look, we got to get the ball in your hands to get back in this game"?
Well, we just needed to take the shots that we had open. I mean, in the first half, we didn't have many open shots. They were playing really good D, and we started to get a little open looks. They were getting a little tired in the second half, and he just said we need to just take the shots that we can make and not try to do anything that we can't do, and that's what we did, and it helped us a little.
Now, I was looking forward before the game to the matchup between you and Dan Stock, the top 2 scorers in the conference. That really never materialized.
No.
Was that a strategy that you had, that you guys kind of wanted to attack each other's weaknesses?
Yeah, well, we knew we were going to go out and play man-to-man right away, and we weren't sure how long that was going to last. We knew we were going to go into his zone. If we were getting behind right away, we were going to go into his zone. So we weren't really figuring on that happening, but yeah, it kind of looked like that.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, Gavin. Of course, he is our Delta Dental player of the game. We'll go now to Jessica Delich, who has the Central Delta Dental player of the game. That is Dan Stock.
Thanks, Kirk. I'm out here with the player of the game from Central, Dan Stock, a very popular guy right now. Tell me a little bit about the game, Dan.
We knew we had to come out, play hard, get up into him defensively, get the ball inside, get some cheap buckets, and then we would be victorious in this game.
Did you ever expect the point differential to be so great?
I knew we were capable of it, but I didn't think it would happen since so many things can happen during these East Central games. We weren't expecting, we were just coming out, we were trying to come out and just pull out a victory.
You guys were really able to contain Gavin Manjaris today.
Yeah, we had Mark Linhart, who did an awesome job on Gavin. He pressured him a lot, didn't let him get his shots off, and didn't let him get started. and that helped us a lot.
Now, you guys were talking yesterday. It's a little early for this, but a state potential team.
Yeah, we showed it today. If we come out and play like this every time, we're gonna be there at the state championship game.
Yeah. Now, tell me a little bit. What's down the road? You guys, this is the first conference win?
Yeah, it's our first conference win. We got 9 more to go. We got to be victorious. We got to go about 8-2 to win our conference and get that #1 and get an automatic berth into state.
Well, good luck to you. Congratulations. I know you're eager to celebrate with the team. Have a good night. Take it easy. Guys, back to you.
Well, that was Jessica Delich with our Delta Dental player of the game from Central High School, Dan Stock. Dan, he was the main man out here on this floor tonight. Dan leading the way statistically and emotionally for the Indians.
Well, and as we talked about earlier, I think when you have good guard play, you're going to look pretty good as a team. I think Central starters were the key. Obviously, all 5 scored, and they were the only ones that scored. But when you get good guard play, you're going to look pretty good as a team. And when you've got a point guard that's making the kind of decisions that Dan Stock did all day long, you're going to play pretty well.
Well, Dan was certainly the spark behind the Indians today. He led the way with 16 points. They had a good inside-outside combination going with Stock and Jake Merrill in the first half. Second half, though, Cody Kerrigan really turned it on for the Indians.
Well, as we talk about player of the game, you know, we're off the air, but you and I are looking at each other wondering, is it Dan Stock, is it Cody Kerrigan, is it Jake Merrill? It's kind of a coach's dream. Jake Merrill stepped it up, gives Central High an inside presence. You know you're going to get solid play from both Mark Linhart and Dan Stock, game in and game out. But the bookends, Cody Kerrigan and Paul Shane, are up around the basket. They're playing good defense, and you got to give credit to Central as a team defensively, because East High was pressured all game. They didn't get a good look at the basket, so maybe not an indication of East High's play, but maybe Central's play defensively as a team.
Right. And for East High, Gavin Manjaris had 7 points for the T-Birds. David Ellis led the way with 8. Well, exciting 2-game set we had here today. It's been my pleasure covering it. Matt Stranigan, thanks for joining us. It was a pleasure having you here.
Kirk, I enjoyed it. Sitting next to a CSU guy, I thought it might be tough, but I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun.
Well, I've been accustomed now to being around plenty of Wyoming people, so I think I've acclimated myself quite well. At least I tried to. Well, I certainly enjoyed both these games, the boys and girl games. The finals are Central. They win the boys game today quite handily. Can't remember the final score off the top of my head. 55-32 is the final score as we look at the Plains A to Z Burger King scoreboard. And in the girls' game, East High ran away with that one. Okay, for Matt Stranigan, I'm Kirk Bowman and News Channel 5. All the people that put this together, thanks for watching. We enjoyed it.